Hello, all you beautiful people out there, and welcome to Saturday Livestream. As always, first order of business is comment of the week, and today's comment of the week goes to Dr. Mark Warner under Emergence of Israel, David and Solomon. And they say, for me, the main criticism of all this is that the two Jewish kingdoms, Judea in the south, or Judah in the south rather, and Israel in the north, were never unified. The Deuteronomy history is political propaganda dating from circa 650 to support King Josiah's territorial ambitions. There was no temple or public architecture in Jerusalem in the 10th century BC. Far too early. The southern kingdom only gets going circa 750. Thank you very much, Dr. Mark Warner, and I certainly do agree with you on that one. And I have pinned your comment. And today in history. Today is March 6th, where I am. And Bayer patents aspirin. The German company Bayer patents aspirin on March 6th, 1899. Now, the most common drug in household medicine cabinets, I always have trouble with this one. It's a tongue twister sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. Acetyl salicylic acid was originally made from a chemical found in the bark of willow trees. In its primitive form, the active ingredient salicin was used for centuries in folk medicine, beginning in ancient Greece when Hippocrates used it to relieve pain and fever. Known to doctors since the mid-19th century, it was used sparingly due to its unpleasant taste and tendency to damage the stomach. In 1897, Bayer employee Felix Hoffmann found a way to create a stable form of the drug that was easier and more pleasant to take. Some evidence shows that Hoffmann's work was really done by a Jewish chemist, Arthur Eichengreen, whose contributions were covered up during the Nazi era. After obtaining the patent rights, Bayer began distributing aspirin in powder form to physicians to give to their patients 1 gram at a time. The brand name came from A for acetyl, spear for the spirea plant, a source of salicin, and the suffix in, commonly used for medications. It quickly became the number 1 drug worldwide. Aspirin was made available in tablet form and without a prescription in 1915. 2 years later, when Bayer's patent expired during the First World War, the company lost the trademark rights to aspirin in various countries. After the U.S. entered the war against Germany in April 1917, the Alien Property Custodian, a government agency that administers foreign property, seized Bayer's U.S. assets. 2 years later, the Bayer Company name and trademarks for the U.S. and Canada were auctioned off and purchased by Sterling Products Company, later Sterling Winthrop, for $5.3 million. Bayer became part of IG Farben, the conglomerate of German chemical industries that formed the financial heart of the Nazi regime. After World War II, the Allies split apart. IG Farben and Bayer again emerged as an individual company. Its purchase of Miles Laboratories in 1978 gave it a product line including Alka-Seltzer and Flintstones and one-a-day vitamins. In 1994, Bayer bought Sterling Winthrop's over-the-counter business, gaining back rights to the Bayer name and logo, and allowing the company once again to profit from American sales of its most famous product. Hi, Marianne. All right, just a couple of channel announcements. I now have channel memberships. I only have one tier right now. If you would like me to add more tiers, I can. Just let me know in member only chats. The one tier I do have is a $2.99 per month membership. However, I do not want you to be spending money on membership if you need it for yourself. Oh, yeah, that was horrible. I saw it on I think it was Ocean Caltoid's stream. He's actually a polytheist, and he was talking about all of the pagan that is not me, that is my upstairs neighbor, I'm sorry. But anyway, Ocean was talking about all the pagan symbols in the CPAC conference, which to me is funny because they would just be horrified if they knew that they had used pagan symbols. So that is just hilarious to me. So getting back to my channel announcements, I'm now offering channel memberships. Only one tier thus far, $2.99 tier. You get really cool emojis and really cool badges. And I will add tiers if you want me to. That's no big deal. Also, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Godless Engineer is going to be on this channel. I finally got him. And we are going to hear his story. By the way, John, if you're listening to this, no hard feelings about how long it's taken for us to get together. I know it's been a crazy year, and it's no big deal. Just come on, we'll have a great big time, and and all of that good stuff. So those are my two channel announcements. And now for the events you've all come for. Making fun of the Bible. Because that's what we do here on Saturday live stream. And we are starting in chapter 31 of Exodus. Then the Lord said to Moses, "See, I have chosen Bezalel, son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, and I have filled him with the Spirit of God, with wisdom, with understanding, with knowledge, and with all kinds of skills to make artistic designs for work in gold, silver, and bronze, to cut and set stones, to work in wood, and to engrave in all kinds of craft. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I got a few things to say about this. First of all, for some reason, there are a few sources in the Old Testament. We've got the Elohists, we've got the Yahwists, we've got the Redactor, and I'm going to be talking about all this stuff, so don't worry about it right now. But apparently, from what I can tell, this is a Yahwist that is writing. However, he uses an El name. And remember, El is the head of the Canaanite pantheon. So apparently, the Yahwist is very much aware that people still worship El. And also, the second thing I wanted to say is God claims credit for filling Bezalel with the spirit of understanding and knowledge, and with all types of skills. No, God, he did that himself. Thank you very much. He did that himself. You don't get to take credit for it. Verse 6. Moreover, I have appointed Oholiab, son of Ahisamach of the tribe of Dan, to help him. Also, I have given ability to all the skilled workers to make everything I have commanded you: the tent of meeting, the ark of the covenant, law with the atonement cover on it, and all the other furnishings of the tent, the table and its articles, the pure gold lampstand and all its accessories, the altar of incense, the altar of burnt offering, and all its utensils, the basin with its stand, and also the woven garments with the sacred garments for Aaron the priest, and the garments for his sons when they serve as priests, and the anointing oil and fragrant incense for the holy place. They are to make them just as I commanded. Okay. Another thing I have to say here. The 12 tribe schema. It is an artifact, okay? There were no 12 sons of Jacob, okay? If you watch my Emergence of Israel series, you will find that Israel is an indigenous Canaanite movement. That's why you see El popping up all over the place, even though you have Yahwists, but you also have Elohists. Okay, so you see both of them popping up. Even though Yahweh is not indigenous to Canaan, he most likely came from Midian or around that area. But you see both. You see both gods, okay? And Christians don't know they're two different gods. But at any rate, the 12 tribe system is an artifact. There were no 12 sons of Jacob and yada, yada, yada. So, anyway. Moving on, verse 12. Then the Lord said to Moses, say to the Israelites, you must observe my Sabbaths. This will be a sign between me and you for the generations to come, so you may know that I am the Lord who makes you holy. Observe the Sabbath because it is holy to you. Anyone who desecrates it is to be put to death. Those who do any work on that day must be cut off from their people. Okay. Stopping again. What if a woman goes into labor on the Sabbath and she needs a midwife? Because technically midwifery is like, working, I mean, come on, babies come whenever they come. They don't ask for permission to come. They just come. Just wanted to point that out. Verse 15. For 6 days work is to be done, but the seventh day is a day of Sabbath rest, holy to the Lord. Whoever does any work on the Sabbath day is to be put to death. The Israelites are to observe the Sabbath, celebrating it for the generations to come as a lasting covenant. It will be a sign between me and the Israelites forever, for in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. First of all, the heavens and the earth were not made in 6 days. We all know this. Okay, we all know this. Second of all, you just repeated yourself like twice, God. I mean, seriously. You could have said that in one verse. Moving on, verse 18. When the Lord finished speaking to Moses on Mount Sinai, he gave him the 2 tablets of the covenant law, the tablets of stone inscribed by the finger of God. I'm not even going to touch that one. Chapter 32. When the people saw that Moses was so long in coming down from the mountain, they gathered around Aaron and said, come, make us gods who will go before us. As for this fellow Moses who brought us up out of Egypt, we don't know what has happened to him. Aaron answered them, take off the gold earrings that your wives, your sons, and your daughters are wearing and bring them to me. So all the people took off their earrings and brought them to Aaron. He took what they handed him and made it into an idol cast in the shape of a calf, fashioning it with a tool. Then they said, these are your gods, Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt. Okay, I want to stop there because I have a lot of things to say about this. First of all, there is not enough gold in earrings to make a golden calf, even if it is a small golden calf. No way. No way. Second of all, and because the Israelites were Canaanites, they would know this. Okay? Just wanted to point this out. El's symbol is the bull. Now, I have a video on this called El and Bull Symbolism. El's symbol is the bull. Therefore, I can only conclude, and this may be wrong, and I might find out later, but I can only conclude that when Moses is talking about, not worshiping the golden calf because it's an idol, I have to come to the conclusion, because the calf or the bull is El's symbol, that he is condemning the worship of El, even though these two gods continually appear side by side in the Bible. Verse 5. When Aaron saw this, he built an altar in front of the calf and announced, "Tomorrow there will be a festival to the Lord." So the next day, the people rose early and sacrificed burnt offerings and presented fellowship offerings. Afterward, they sat down to eat and drink and got up to indulge in revelry. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Go down, because your people, whom you brought up out of Egypt, have become corrupt." Now, this is kind of funny, I think, because this is where God and Moses, if you believe the story, which I don't, but if you believe the story, this is where God and Moses argue like a married couple. He's your son, not mine. Your son did this. Verse 8. They have been quick to turn away from what I commanded them and have made themselves an idol cast in the shape of a calf. They have bowed down to it and sacrificed to it, and have said, "These are your gods, Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt." Hi, Mr. Shadow Kitty. Verse 9. I have seen these people, the Lord said to Moses, and they are a stiff-necked people. Now leave me alone, so that my anger may burn against them, and that I may destroy them. Then I will make you into a great nation. But Moses sought the favor of the Lord, his God. "Lord," he said, "why should your anger burn against your people?" Now remember, God's saying, "Hey, these are your people." And Moses is saying, "Hey, they're not my people, they're your people." So they're arguing like a married couple right now. Like I said, if you believe the story. Why should your anger burn against your people, whom you brought out of Egypt with great power and a mighty hand? Why should the Egyptians say, "It was with evil intent that he brought them out to kill them in the mountains and to wipe them off the face of the earth"? Turn from your fierce anger, relent, and do not bring disaster on your people. Remember your servants Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, to whom you swore by your own self, "I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, and I will give your descendants all this land I promised them, and it will be their inheritance forever." Then the Lord, hang on, I got 2 pages stuck together here. I really hate these thin pages. Then the Lord relented and did not bring on his people the disaster he had threatened. So, apparently God can change his mind, which flies in the face of later books that say he doesn't change. But if he changes his mind, obviously he changes. And then you have apologists saying, well, he didn't really change his mind. He was just, I'm not really sure what they say, to tell you the honest truth. I've been out of that mindset so long. Maybe one of you can tell me in the chat what the apologists say now. But anyway, it's like God does change because God changes his mind all the time. Verse 15. Moses turned and went down the mountain with the 2 tablets of the covenant law in his hands. They were inscribed on both sides, front and back. The tablets were the work of God. The writing was the writing of God engraved on the tablets. When Joshua heard the noise of the people shouting, he said to Moses, "There is the sound of war in the camp." Moses replied, "It is not the sound of victory. It is not the sound of defeat. It is the sound of singing that I hear." I thought the Israelites celebrated victories with singing. I recall reading, with David's exploits that they celebrated it with singing. Nevermore. If you have not seen Dark Matter 2525, go to his channel. He's got some really good cartoons on that. Verse 19. When Moses approached the camp and saw the calf and dancing, his anger burned, and he threw the tablets out of his hands. Breaking them to pieces at the foot of the mountain. And he took the calf the people had made and burned it in the fire. Then he ground it to powder, scattered it on the water, and made the Israelites drink it. Sounds like Moses needed some anger management courses too. But hey, he serves a God that gets mad at the drop of a hat, so what can he say? Verse 21. He, Moses, said to Aaron, "What did these people do to you that led them into such great sin?" So obviously he's saying, "Hey, Otangelo." So obviously he's saying, Aaron, I know it wasn't your fault. It was these people's fault. They obviously did something to you to make you sin this way. So what did they do? Verse 22. "Do not be angry, my lord," Aaron answered. "You know how prone these people are to evil." "Oh yeah, Aaron, just throw your people under the bus." Verse 23. "They said to me, 'Make us gods who will go before us.' As for this fellow Moses, who brought us up out of Egypt, we don't know what has happened to him." So I told them, 'Whoever has any gold jewelry, take it off.' Then they gave me the gold, and I threw it into the fire, and out came this calf. Okay, Aaron, that is bullshit. Verse 25. Moses saw that the people were running wild and that Aaron had let them get out of control and so become a laughing stock to their enemies. Okay. Got a question for you. They're supposed to be out in the middle of the goddamn desert. Exactly what enemies are they supposed to be a laughing stock of? There's nobody there to see them, supposedly. What's that, Mr. Shadow Kitty? What made you laugh? Verse 26. So he stood at the entrance to the camp and said, "Whoever is for the Lord, come to me." And all the Levites rallied to him. Hey, Ox. Yeah, we're talking about the golden calf. Actually, it was probably a bull. Like I said earlier, because the bull is El's symbol. And since the Israelites are just a bunch of Canaanites that decided to band together, it's most likely that the golden calf was a bull calf. Oh, thanks, Mr. Shadow Kitty. Yeah, play on words, huh? Verse 27. Then he said to them, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. Each man strap a sword to his side. Go back and forth through the camp from one end to the other, each killing his brother and friend and neighbor." Damn, this God is savage. He didn't get enough blood out of killing all the firstborn of Egypt. Not that that ever happened. But now he's got to demand blood sacrifice from Junk Shop's right. I'm going to get an aneurysm. Let me go on. Verse 28. The Levites did as Moses commanded, and that day about 3,000 of the people died. Then Moses said, "You have been set apart to the Lord today, for you were against your own sons and brothers, and he has blessed you this day." Excuse me. That is not a good reason for God to choose you. And if you serve a God that chooses you because you are willing to kill people for no goddamn reason at all, then you have one fucked up God. Verse 30. The next day, Moses said to the people, "You have committed a great sin, but now I will go up to the Lord. Perhaps I can make atonement for your sin." So Moses went back to the Lord and said, "Oh, what a great sin these people have committed. They have made themselves gods of gold. But now, please forgive their sin. But if not, then blot me out from your book that you have written." The Lord replied to Moses, "Whoever has sinned against me, I will blot out of my book. Now go, lead the people to the place I spoke of, and my angel will go before you. However, when the time comes for me to punish, I will punish them for their sin." And the Lord struck the people with a plague because of what they did with the calf Aaron made. Okay, I've got a question. Why did he punish them twice? Okay, first God commands the Levites to go kill a bunch of people. Kill 3,000 people, God says. So the Levites go, and they're not thinking, they don't have their mental faculties because they're brainwashed little bitches. Okay, so they go and kill 3,000 people, and then God has to come in and send a plague. So there are two punishments. So you only said one punishment, God. So, either you can't count or you just lied. It's one of the two. And I agree, Nevermore. I agree. Chapter 33. Then the Lord said to Moses, leave this place, you and the people you brought up out of Egypt, and go to the land I promised on oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, I will give it to your descendants. I will send an angel before you and drive out the Canaanites, Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. Okay, I just want to stop here. Not all of these people were in the land of Canaan at this time. Okay, they weren't. I just want to clear that up for you. And the Israelites are Canaanites. Verse 3, go up to the land flowing with milk and honey, but I will not go with you because you are a stiff-necked people, and I might destroy you on the way. God needs anger management classes, people. Verse 4, when the people heard these distressing words, they began to mourn, and no one put on any ornaments. For the Lord had said to Moses, tell the Israelites, you are a stiff-necked people. If I were to go with you, even for a moment, I might destroy you. Now take off your ornaments, and I will decide what to do with you. So the Israelites stripped off their ornaments at Mount Horeb. Verse 7. Now Moses used to take a tent and pitch it outside the camp, some distance away, calling it the tent of meeting. Anyone inquiring of the Lord would go to the tent of meeting outside the camp. And whenever Moses went out to the tent, all the people rose and stood at the entrances to their tents, watching Moses until he entered the tent. As Moses went into the tent, the pillar of cloud would come down and stay at the entrance while the Lord spoke with Moses. Whenever the people saw the pillar of cloud standing at the entrance to the tent, they all stood and worshipped, each at the entrance to their tent. The Lord would speak to Moses face to face, as one speaks to a friend. Then Moses would return to the camp, but his young aide Joshua of Nun did not leave the camp. Okay. So we have God talking face to face to Moses as if friend to friend. If God is a spirit, and if you look through the rest of the Bible, you'll see that several times. God is spirit, blah, blah, blah. If God is spirit, how can he have a face? And how can he talk to Moses face to face as a friend if God is a spirit? Verse 12. Moses said to the Lord, you have been telling me, lead these people, but you have not let me know whom you will send with me. You have said, I know you by name, and you have found favor with me. If you are pleased with me, teach me your ways, so I may know and continue to find favor with you. Remember that this nation is your people. The Lord replied, my presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. Didn't God just say he wasn't going to go before them because he might, accidentally destroy them in a fit of anger? I'm telling you, God's got Alzheimer's. Verse 15. Then Moses said to him, if your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here. How will anyone know that you are pleased with me and with your people unless you go with us? What else will distinguish me and your people from all the people on the face of the earth? And the Lord said to Moses, I will do the very thing you have asked, because I am pleased with you, and I know you by name. Okay, so we've got two peas in a pod. God is a murderer and Moses is a murderer. Remember, Moses murdered the Egyptian. Probably a lot of other people that aren't mentioned. Not that I believe Moses even existed, but, let's pretend. Verse 18. Then Moses showed me your glory. And the Lord said, I will cause all my goodness to pass in front of you, and I will proclaim my name, the Lord, in your presence. I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. But, he said, you cannot see my face, for no one may see me and live. Okay, that was verse 20. But in verse 11 of the same chapter, it says the Lord would speak to Moses face to face. Look it up. So if God is speaking to Moses face to face in verse 11, how is it that he is now telling Moses, you can't see my face, because if you see my face, you'll die? I'm just asking. Does this make any sense? Verse 21. The Lord said, there is a place near me where you may stand on a rock. When my glory passes by, I will put you in a cleft in the rock and cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Again, God's got a hand, so obviously he's got to have a body, so he can't be spirit. Then I will remove my hand, and you will see my back, but my face must not be seen. I'm sorry, I just got to crack this joke. It's just begging to be cracked, okay? Did Moses see God's butt crack? Chapter 34. The Lord said to Moses, chisel out 2 stone tablets, like the first ones, and I will write on them the words that were on the first tablets, which you broke. Be ready in the morning, and then come up on Mount Sinai. Present yourself to me there on top of the mountain. No one is to come with you, or be seen anywhere on the mountain. Not even the flocks and herds may graze in front of the mountain. So, great God. So, you're going to kill animals if they even come close to the mountain just because you can? What kind of an idiotic God are you? Verse 4. Moses chiseled out 2 stone tablets like the first ones and went up to Mount Sinai early in the morning as the Lord had commanded him. And he carried the 2 stone tablets in his hand. Then the Lord came down in the cloud and stood there with him and proclaimed his name, the Lord. And he passed in front of Moses, proclaiming, the Lord, the compassionate and gracious God. You just killed a bunch of people, God. Doesn't sound very compassionate and gracious to me. Slow to anger. Yeah, I have an issue with that one. Abounding in love and faithfulness. Maintaining love to thousands. If that's your love, you can have it. I don't want it. And forgiving wickedness, rebellion, and sin. Yet he does not leave the guilty unpunished. He punishes the children and their children for the sin of the parents to the third and fourth generation. Now, this is very unfair. Why the hell should children have to bear their father's punishment? Makes no sense. Oh, but it's God, so it's got to make sense somehow. Verse 8. Moses bowed to the ground at once and worshipped. Lord, he said, if I have found favor in your eyes, then let the Lord go with us. Although this is a stiff-necked people, forgive our wickedness and our sin, and take us as your inheritance. I think there's a bad sex joke in there somewhere. Verse 10. Then the Lord said, I am making a covenant with you. Before all your people I will do wonders, never before done in any nation in all the world. The people you live among will see how awesome is the work that I, the Lord, will do for you. Gee, God, you're not a narcissist or anything, are you? Verse 11, obey what I command you today. I will drive out before you the Amorites, Canaanites, Hittites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. Again, all of these people didn't live in Canaan at that time. And again, the Israelites were Canaanites. Verse 12, be careful not to make a treaty with those who live in the land where you are going, or they will be a snare among you. Break down their altars, smash their sacred stones, and cut down their Asherah poles. Okay, I want to stop here. I have done a few videos on Asherah. Asherah was a goddess, and she's actually El's wife. So Asherah is El's wife, and we think the Asherah pole was a stylized tree. We're not exactly sure, but we think that's what it was a stylized tree. But that's what they're talking about when they're talking about the Asherah pole. Verse 14, do not worship any other gods, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. Got a question for you, God. Isn't being jealous a sin? Verse 15. All right. Put your boots on. We've got some repetitiveness here. Verse 15. Be careful not to make a treaty with those who live in the land. For when they prostitute themselves to their gods and sacrifice to them, they will invite you and you will eat their sacrifices. And when you choose some of their daughters as wives for your sons, and those daughters prostitute themselves to their gods, they will lead your sons to do the same. I know, right, Nevermore? Verse 17. Do not make any idols. Okay, so this is the second set of 10 Commandments, okay? Now remember, the first set came with the first 4 commandments had to do with how awesome God is. Tell me how awesome I am, okay? But when Moses breaks the tablet, supposedly, like I said, this never happened, but supposedly Moses breaks the tablets, goes back up Mount Sinai, gets a second set of commandments from the Lord. And this is the second set of commandments. Do not make any idols. Celebrate the festival of unleavened bread. For 7 days eat bread made without yeast, as I commanded you. Do this at the appointed time in the month of Aviv, for in that month you came out of Egypt. Tell me about it, Marianne. And, I mean, you don't see this stuff until you're out, out of that mindset. Verse 19. The first offspring of every womb belongs to me, including all the firstborn males of your livestock, whether from herd or flock. Redeem the firstborn donkey with a lamb, but if you do not redeem it, break its neck. Redeem all your firstborn sons. More blood. This is a blood god, people. This is a blood god. No one is to appear before me empty-handed. So, in other words, you got someone so poor they don't even have a roof over their head, and you want them to give you something? I don't think so. "6 days you shall labor." Hey, God's really serious about his Sabbath. 6 days you shall labor, but on the 7th day you shall rest. Even during the plowing season and harvest, you must rest. Celebrate the festival of weeks with the first fruits of the wheat harvest and the festival of the ingathering at the turn of the year. 3 times a year, all your men are to appear before the sovereign Lord, the God of Israel. I will drive out nations before you and enlarge your territory, and no one will covet your land when you go up 3 times each year to appear before the Lord your God. Do not offer the blood of a sacrifice to me along with anything containing yeast, and do not let any of the sacrifice from the Passover festival remain until morning. Bring the best of the first fruits of your soil to the house of the Lord your God. Do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. I kid you not. This is a commandment in the 10 Commandments. On the second set of 10 Commandments, these are the commandments that if we believe there's an Ark of the Covenant, these are the commandments that are in the Ark of the Covenant. Not that I believe there's an Ark of the Covenant, but these are the commandments that are in there. Don't boil a goat in its mother's milk. Okay. And that's relevant how? Verse 27. Then the Lord said to Moses, write down these words, for in accordance with these words, I have made a covenant with you and with Israel. Okay, God, I have never boiled a kid and its mother's goat. So does that mean I have a covenant with you? Verse 28. Moses was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights without eating bread or drinking water. And he wrote on the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 Commandments. No one can live without water for 40 days. You may be able to live without food 40 days. It depends. But you definitely cannot live without water for 40 days. But 40 is a symbolic number, and we will get there. I have a lot of crap I still have to cover. So, 40 is a symbolic number. 70 is a symbolic number. 7 is a symbolic number. 3 is a symbolic number. A lot of symbolic numbers in the Bible. Verse 29. When Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 tablets of the covenant law in his hands, remember, this isn't the one saying, honor thy father and thy mother. This is the one saying, don't boil a kid in its mother's milk. He was not aware that his face was radiant because he had spoken with the Lord. Verse 30. When Aaron and all the Israelites saw Moses, his face was radiant, and they were afraid to come near him. But Moses called to them. So Aaron and all the leaders of the community came back to him, and he spoke to them. Afterward, all the Israelites came near him, and he gave them all the commands the Lord had given him on Mount Sinai. Yep, got to give that command about not boiling a kid in its mother's milk. That one's an important one. Verse 33. When Moses finished speaking to them, he put a veil over his face. But whenever he entered the Lord's presence to speak with him, he removed the veil until he came out. And when he came out and told the Israelites what had been commanded, they saw that his face was radiant. Then Moses would put the veil back over his face until he went in to speak with the Lord. So, yeah. No more, I think it's called Afterglow. Hey, I'm just saying. Not getting kinky or anything. So anyway, so that is the end of chapter 34. Don't forget, tomorrow we have Atheist Church. Same time, same channel. Remember, I now offer channel memberships. You get cute little emojis and cute little badges. And I'm working on some rewards for my members. So don't forget that. And Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I will have Godless Engineer on my channel. You don't want to miss it. if you like this kind of stuff, you are definitely gonna love Godless Engineer. So I will say good night to everyone. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow for Atheist Church. Bye.